Doreen Virtue's newfound interest in Jesus. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Melissa Feick, and this is my perspective and my understanding of Doreen Virtue and what's happening with her newfound interest and desire to start following Jesus. I do believe that this is from her heart, and she truly believes that this is the right way for her. I get it. I met Doreen Virtue in 2002 up in New York at Omega Institute. I did a weekend workshop with her, and it was great. And I watched how she interacted with people, which was very, very minimal. She didn't spend a lot of time talking to anybody, and she had people around her to kind of protect her from the people. Fast forward to 2004, I went all the way to California. I live on the East Coast, and I went all the way to California, spent $1,444 just on her workshop alone to become an ATP. Great experience. Overall, it cost me quite a bit of money to do that certification. What I noticed while I was there, I found it very fascinating how as she would go to the bathroom, she would gather all of these other ATPs that have already been certified around her, and they'd all walk her to the bathroom, and they were protecting her. And they were protecting her from people talking to her. And I understand. She mentioned that she was very sensitive to energies and that she needed to protect herself. And she needed to protect herself from us. So fast forward, I watched her through the years. I kind of pulled away a little bit from the angel therapy stuff, did my own thing. But I've always heard about her. People talk about her. I bought her cards because I do still do readings. And I think Doreen has a lot of great qualities about her. But this newfound thing with the Jesus connection is, I find a little interesting, but not surprising. And I'll tell you why. One thing I noticed about Doreen is she comes from a lot of fear. Fear of other people's energies, fear of being taken advantage of. And again, this is just my perspective. And the other thing I've also noticed is that Doreen looks outside of herself, what so many of us do. We look outside of ourselves for things to make us happy, to help our lives, to become better people, to transform our life. And when we look outside of ourselves to angels, to masters, to God, to help us through our difficult times, to save us. And that's a lot of the Bible energy, not necessarily Jesus, but the Bible energy is that you need salvation and you need to be saved. And what do you need to be saved from? I'm not sure what that is for everybody. I think is different of what they need to be saved for. But when you're looking to be saved, you're not looking within. You're looking outside of yourself to be saved. Save me from this. That's victim energy. And when we're looking outside of ourselves, we are not being fully present with what do we need to transform within to help us perceive the world in a different way. So many of us, including Doreen, we're looking outside of ourselves. But the thing is that we are looking at the duality of our existence on this earth plane. And when we look at the good, bad, everything has a balance, like it's either bad or it's good, or it's healthy or it's not healthy, or you're happy or you're not happy, or you're angry or you love them, or you want to forgive them, or you feel compassion. Well, that's kind of the same thing or similar, but you get the gist. So what I'm saying is that you have this right-wrong duality. So that's the pendulum that swings, right? So the pendulum is either swinging to the hate or the pendulum is either swinging to the love. But in the middle, in the centeredness, is an equanimity energy, which means that you feel centered and you're not you can feel the love and you can understand the hate, but you don't need to be in either direction to feel centered and present. And when we are constantly looking outside of ourselves, we're only seeing the dualistic world. We are not going in and saying, what is about me that's holding me in this tight container of fear? What's holding me in this tight container of duality? And when we're looking, that's one thing I have to say that I love about the more modern thought process. I don't even kind of call it New Age. I really call it a modern thought process. It's more about consciousness. And if you're looking to angels or masters or other beings outside of yourself, including Jesus, to save you, then you are not working with your own inner consciousness, and you're not seeing beyond the illusion. You're only seeing the duality. And when you only see the duality, there's pain and suffering. And when there's pain and suffering, you look more outside of yourself to help the pain and suffering. And so someone like Doreen, who has made a lot of money off of her her work as a spiritual leader, she's been looking outside of herself, maybe. Again, this is perspective. And I know you all are going to think that I'm judging her, but I'm not. I'm finding this fascinating. I find it fascinating that someone who has worked for so many years to bring forth angels and to help us feel more centered in the spiritual world has moved into a new direction. And what is it she's looking for? If I were in that place that I was looking for something, of course I'd be looking everywhere I could, including a church that's thousands of years old. I'm very much into Buddhism and into the Hindu traditions and consciousness work. But I don't take one thing and say, that's my way. I've never been like angels are the only thing, or ascended masters are the only thing, or chanting is the only thing. I've looked at it all, saying, where is it that my soul feels at home? And where can I find this equanimity of understanding where I feel really centered and really grounded in the earth, but really part of the whole? Where can I find that inner knowingness that I am love? And nothing can rock that. It all comes from suffering and attachment. If I am attached to something changing in my life so that I can feel better about myself, then I am not in the presence of my soul consciousness. Now, if you are looking outside of yourself for something to make you happy, then you're not finding your inner truth. This isn't about Doreen's newfound love of Jesus. This is for you to look inside, not to follow suit, and not to follow her or follow Jesus or follow a Christian ideal or the New Age ideal or, the new best thing ideal. This is for you to claim back your power and find your inner strength, your inner truth, and your inner love, so that you can see the illusion and the duality and how that is pushing all of the anger and hate out into the world, and the people who are drawing that anger and hate in, and that fear and that need to be saved, they're the ones who are still looking outside of themselves to change what's inside. And I find it really fascinating. And I know that some people are going to feel like I'm judging her or judging you or judging myself or feeling overly perfect or something. Frick no. I am not a perfect person by any means, but I see the illusion more and more, because the more I go inside in deep meditation and not asking the angels for something, going to the quantum field and just being in pure essence of expandedness, of oneness, of love, and feeling that, knowing that that's the truth for me, okay, then I see out in the world how we are suffering, and how when you are suffering, you're trying to find the answer outside of yourself. But the answer is within. It's not in a church, but a church is great because it gives you community. It's not in the New Age movement, but maybe, feeling love from angels helps you move through some of the difficult times in your life. All of these things matter. And you can certainly call on angels if you feel called to. Call on Jesus if you feel called to. But the ultimate understanding is for you to go into your own heart, find your true essence, and find love within yourself. Because that is where you're going to find the balance in your life. And you're not going to be looking outside of yourself for love, for happiness, and to feel centered in who you are. Much love.